is live. Trump tailspin. The president's loudest advocates were all over TV, scrambling to make the case against impeachment. But did they just make matters worse? With Whoopi, Albie Huntsman, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
We want to say Shana Tova to everyone celebrating Rosh Hashanah. That's Happy New Year. Happy, you know, hope it all goes well for everybody who's celebrating and for everybody who's not. And you know whose biggest fans made a full court press on Sunday news shows to try to spin this story on impeachment inquiries against you know who. They were all over the map. It was like bad tennis. Really bad tennis. Well, take a look.
Mueller wasn't a witch hunt, but this is Salem witch trials have more due process than this.
The President of the United States is the whistleblower, and this individual is a saboteur trying to undermine a democratically elected government.
I want to know all about them. I want to know what kind of dogs they have, how many marriages they've had, if they have a DUI. I want to know if they're partisan. I want to know everything.
We've all seen the transcript. There's nothing there. So I respectfully disagree with my colleagues who think that there needs to be a further inquiry here.
I wouldn't cooperate with Adam Schiff. I think Adam Schiff should be removed.
That's your answer. You're not going to cooperate.
I didn't say that. I said I will consider it.
You
Consider it.
The audience is hysterical. It's like a comedy routine.
But it's crazy. So here's what we know. We know what he said, because he said it.
Yes.
We know all the stuff he said he did because he said he did it. And they're fact-checking him on the stuff he said with his own words. So now here come, I guess, the Rolling Thunder trying to tell you that he didn't say what he said when he said it because he didn't say what he said when he said it.
That's it. You got that right.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Straight.
Yeah. When will they be on Dancing with the Stars, all of them? That's what I'm waiting for.
That's what I'm wondering is it worth it for you?
Yeah.
What are you wanting out of this? Do you want a job in the White House? Are you worried that you're not going to get reelected if you don't? Because these were the same voices, if you remember, about Hillary Clinton's emails. They were the shouting the loudest. And so what made me so upset over the weekend, it's just the blatant hypocrisy. It's staring us all in the face. And I do believe most Americans are smarter than we give them credit for. I think they see that. If the whistleblower, for example, gave information that were helpful to the president, they would all be saying he's a hero in the White House right now. And they'd be telling the media, keep his name private, protect this whistleblower. So I try and flip everything. I try and change the cards. And in this case, it all is backwards.
But they can't stop what they're doing because they didn't stop him when he attacked Meghan's dad. They didn't stop him when he attacked the handicapped, when he said the Charlottesville people were, the Nazis were good people. They didn't stop him then. So they have to stand by their malignancy.
But again, but why?
Yeah.
Well, you made such a good point during our morning meeting, which was
I was upset.
Well, she was. But when you usually see Republicans all on the same page, very, very good at messaging, I saw everybody all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, Lindsey Graham looked like he was about to have some sort of, I don't know what was going on with him. And then you have Mark Levin, you know, who was the Reagan administration, who used to be pretty well respected. I didn't know what was happening with him. Everyone had a different message, and that's something I don't think we've seen.
But no, there was one recent theme.
The spin was off, I will say. So
it was spinning out of control.
I shouldn't have done this, and I concede this. I watched all of it. I watched every Sunday news show. I watched Jake Tapper. By the way, shout out to people like Jake Tapper, Ed Henry, Chris Wallace, George Stephanopoulos for really doing their jobs this weekend and holding their feet to the fire. Not
in real time.
Yes, in real time. I will say, I mean, really, they deserve props. Especially Ed Henry, who was getting really unwarranted crap for simply just asking questions.
Yeah.
He is a great journalist on Fox, and I whatever. But I will say, when you're bringing up the deep state, when you're blaming the media, you're already lost. In any campaign, if you're blaming the media, it means like one of the wheels has fallen off. And what was fascinating to me is even during the Russia investigation, they all were very tight on the narrative that they were putting out, and their talking points were very clear. I agree with you. I kept watching and I was like, nothing is making sense and no one can seem to answer the question. And it's very simple. What was Trump asking to the asking for a quid pro quo? And none of his surrogates on TV seem to be able to give any other answer than the dark tinfoil hat deep state is coming out to get him. But this is why it's so important for conservatives on TV to not just go on TV every day and scream President Logo over and over again. It's important that we are honest about what's happening in real time, because right now, when people are asking me what's going on, I'm saying one wheel just fell off and people are listening a little more clearly.
The question I would ask you, though, is all of this that they do, it muddies the water. It confuses people. Do you think that works?
But they didn't do it effectively this time. That's what's different this time. Normally they are very muddying the water. This time, as you see with the polling going up, with people supporting impeachment, they failed this time.
It's very difficult, isn't it? How do you explain
Well, they also didn't do their homework. As you watched on 60 Minutes, Kevin McCarthy was asked by Scott Pelley about the transcript, saying, you know, exactly how it was written. I want you to do me a favor. And he said, well, I want you to do me a favor. Well, now you're making up the words. And he said, well, I'm reading you the transcript. And he said, did he really say that? The transcript isn't long, by the way. It's only a few pages.
They didn't read it.
But speaking to your point, Megan, about this is a time where do need to speak out and not muddy the waters. Adam Kinzinger, who's someone that Kinzinger, who I used to interview a lot on Fox and is very well respected among
Republican congressman,
and a former Iraqi vet. The president retweeted a tweet about if Democrats get him out of office, then that will create a civil war. To which he then responded, Adam Kinzinger, who said, he said, I have visited nations ravaged by civil war. I have never imagined such a quote to be repeated by a president. This is beyond repugnant.
Not to Lindsey Graham, it's not.
Can I just say one more thing that really bothered me again, because I was like stuck in my living room. I couldn't unhook myself. I was like an addict getting hits from me. But because it is a fascinating moment in time right now. But I will say, if any of the women on this show behaved the way some of the men were behaving, we would be hysterical, maniac, crazy bitches all over the internet. And these guys get away with behaving that way. And I was so angry.
They got caught undone.
Yes, but and the way some of these men are being covered and the way we're covered in the media, I was furious. I was like, if any of us went on TV, drop into the camera in like this direct way with props behind us, we would all be fired.
I agree with that.
Or at least
I agree with all of that,
and the way some of these men are being covered and the way we're covered in the media, I was furious. I was like, if any of us went on TV, drop into the camera in like this direct way with props behind us, we would all be fired.
I agree with that.
Or at least
I agree with all of that. Daylight. You have to give him that.
That's true. We don't see him very much.
But I thought it was a very... It was interesting that Biden's campaign had sent a letter out requesting that networks not put Giuliani on their network.
Later, SNL.
The tweets keep coming fast and furious out of the White House. And I just, you know, it's so un-American that someone who says, I think there's something bad going on is being subjected to death threats.
Oh, it's
that is not, even, you know, even if you don't like somebody, if they're talking about something's wrong in the White House, you don't say, we're coming to get you. This is not how, this is still America. And people are allowed, that's the job. You're allowed to be someone who says there's a problem.
By the way, there was a discussion, I think we had it last week, about one of the talking points from the right is that this whistleblower is partisan. And I yelled out, well, I have two words for you, Linda Tripp. And Megan didn't know what I was talking about, so let me explain.
No, I did. I just am not as up on the Lewinsky impeachment hearing as I.
But it was trending all weekend.
Yes, I said Joy was right because it was
Linda Tripp was totally partisan. She's the reason that Clinton was impeached because she made what's her name, Lewinsky save the dress, which nailed the case.
Right. And
so
testified
the
on
fact that this guy might be partisan is irrelevant, really, and he's probably not.
Well, it is irrelevant because we now have
but
the transcript.
I do think there's a difference between Linda Tripp and someone in national security and someone who's like working for our government. But that being said, it already was there's a statement, and I didn't know we were doing this topic, so I didn't have this talking point for it. But I know that it's been said that through the council, and I think you know this, that they said that he wasn't or she wasn't.
No, but let me remind you that Deep Throat was an FBI agent.
I gotta rewatch all the President's Men. I'm trying to prep for this show
to your point, Whoopi, is, you know, there are laws that have been put in place to protect whistleblowers. And I think it should really concern every single American that this president is saying, I want to meet the whistleblower. He also has said...
Why did he want to meet the women who wanted to meet him?
Right.
He didn't want to do that. No, he didn't want to do that.
But he also wants to meet the people that work in the White House that talked to the whistleblower. And for me, that is classic witness intimidation.
That's right.
Classic witness
intimidation.
That is very, very
But
scary.
exactly what you said, how unpatriotic.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And you had Joe McGuire, who testified last week, who works in the Trump administration as head of DNI, who I felt so sorry for him, but he stood up for the whistleblower, and he said he did his job. Because you know what? He didn't go to CNN.
By the way, Stephen Miller,
he went up the chain.
That's an important
But he went up the chain. And you made this point, Sonny, that if you make it so people can't go up the chain, if you intimidate them like this,
they go to the media. They go to the media. The only thing that the issue that I took with the DNI was that rather than go to Congress, which is what he was supposed to do under the statute, he went to the White House. He went to the Department of Justice, and
which we can disagree
that was
on,
they were the very subject of the complaint. Right. So how do you go to the president when the president's in the complaint?
Don't threaten the whistleblower. Yeah. That's my point.
Of course.
As an American citizen, I'm glad because I want to know if there's something that smells a little funny and it's coming from a place where I can't see. I need somebody looking out for the country, looking out for us, saying, I think this is not good. Yeah, stop this idea of threatening people. Stop threatening people.
But
stop it.
Such a tornado of stupid to choose from with his 46 tweets between last night and this morning.
Yeah.
It was a tornado of
your
stupid.
Favorite
and as usual, my favorite one, well, it's not my favorite because it's horrible, but he was talking about if Democrats are successful in removing the president from office, it will cause a civil war.
Yeah.
Like fraction in the nation, our country will never heal. You showed that last time.
Right.
Even joking about the idea of a civil war and the ramifications and what this country is already tearing itself apart. I believe it's going to get worse before it gets better.
And he's the perpetrator of it.
But the idea that you could throw that around so cavalierly in a way of...
Well, he does that.
I know, but...
He's never been to war. He doesn't have any idea
what that is. But if he's this
nervous...
No one in his family... But if he's this nervous...
Generation undone. Generations of Trumps have never fought.
Tripp
have never fought.
Coming undone.
It's just... whatever.
Yeah.
I'm trying to seep through a tornado of crazy, and it's not the easiest day here because there's a lot to choose from.
No, because there's a lot to choose from. But the bottom line
We're all on the same side.
Something happened. Don't lose sight of this. He didn't do the right thing, the president.
Yeah.
He didn't do the right thing. That's the first and foremost thing. He had a conversation he shouldn't have had. And no amount of spinning it or trying to make us think we're nuts is going to change the fact that he was incorrect in what he did. And that's why they are coming after him. We'll be right back.